We need affordable housing. My parents used to buy a house working at minimum wage. I can't buy. Back then, people were like, there's no way this dude is like 20 years. I'd never lived with roommate. I lived at home in college. The 2 baby kid rooms are pretty bad for them, you know? Pretty dang bad. Would you consider moving to LA again? Brother, there is no galaxy I move to LA again. No galaxy. You know how expensive it is to live there? I don't know how the heck most of our friends afford to live there. Like, they're crazy, man. They're goddamn crazy. Like, I'll admit it, I'm doing pretty good. You know, Mr. Number 28 or whatever. I ain't rich enough to live there. It's just the facts. I'm just not rich enough to live there. And maybe it's because I want too many things. Okay, I want to own a house one day. A nice house one day. And that's like a pipe dream in LA, unless you've got like, you know, double-digit multi-million juicer money. And even that, you know, as a streamer, you got to be a little more careful because, like, you know, you don't know if you're going to be working here 10 years or making as much money, you know, as you used to. Definitely, I'd make less now, which I'm not complaining, just saying how it is, right? I think, like, LA is just too crazy, man. Too crazy. Maybe if I had a ton more money, I don't know. LA's kind of pricey. I think everyone knew that, though. A nice house in LA ranges from $750K to $1 mil. Dude, an actual trap house in LA ranges up to $1 mil, man. That's not a nice house. Like, that's like a, like, you bro, what part of LA you talking about, man? Yo, any LAers in chat, can you confirm this? Like, this is not true at all, man. For $1 million in LA, you're getting like a place you gotta fix up, you know? You're getting a fixer-upper at best. A fixer-upper in an okay area at best, man. The last time a house went for $1 million where I live was when I was still in high school. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I don't think I would very likely live there permanently again. It's just, maybe if I get another YouTube deal, man. I don't know. Ray got 2 of them. But, you know, I probably won't. Let's be honest. Those things are a thing of the past. But yeah, I think it's just not financially responsible if I were to put it away. And I think you'll notice that if you see me or a lot of my friends, you'll see I'm more financially responsible than, I would say, more streamers. Or you can say cheap as heck. I don't know. There's a lot of words for it. I call it financially responsible, though. You know, I don't buy things if I don't need to. And there's that whole thing where I didn't want to buy a new chair because I was like, hey, my chair works fine. I don't need a new one. But you'll see a lot of streamers buy nice things, and I'm glad they do. You know, they'll buy fancy cars, fancy watches, all that stuff, and just not interested in it, I guess. I mean, I don't know what it is. I just don't feel like I need it. Doesn't fall to consumerism. I don't even think I can fall for it because, like, I'll be totally honest. I could buy a nicer car if I really wanted to. I just don't feel like I want to anymore. I don't know. Can't believe you didn't buy a supercar you don't drive. That's what X did. He didn't have a license. That's crazy. I remember asking him about it. And he's like, I like to rev it in my garage sometimes. And I'm like, that sounds like carbon monoxide poisoning. But, you know, good luck. Don't die. I think I remember Tony doing something like that too. Where I think he bought... Dude, didn't Tony... I think he bought like a Porsche or something a long time ago. And he also didn't have a license at the time. And I was like, dang. I mean, you know, that's pretty cool, though. That's how you know I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting old, man. It's just me saying houses are too dang expensive. We need affordable housing. My parents used to buy a house working at minimum wage. I can't buy... Living costs are pretty high in the U.S. these days, I feel like. I think they're actually at an all-time high, and I don't feel like getting paid is an all-time high. And this is coming from someone who's probably made more than most people, you know, will. And I had a decent job before I became a streamer, and I didn't feel like I was popping off or anything, like, you know. So I mean, it's pretty tough. I'm 30 and I own my own home. This guy's flexing on us. Everyone gang up on him. He's the problem. I'm just kidding. Congratulations, man. That's actually very good. I got lucky and bought a house, but I still have a roommate. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, I feel like my parents, they moved out at like 18. Well, they didn't move out like they were immigrants, but they were like 18. They bought their own house just for themselves at like the age of 20 something. And I'm like, how the heck did that happen? Like these days, everyone's got roommates at least. I think my parents, guys, my dad, okay, his first house was, I think, a 4-bedroom house. For some reason, they didn't have a lot of bathrooms back. I don't know why. It was like 4-bedroom, like 3-bathroom or something like that. It was like less than 200,000. You know, 200,000's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but like, I mean, that's crazy sounding, is it not? Like that sounds insane. You call that not a lot of bathrooms? Well, for 4 bedrooms, like 2 or 3 bathrooms is not a ton, but still, isn't that crazy? My dad bought a 4-bed, 2-bath for $100K. Dude, that's insane. That's insane, man. Living with roommates makes you a man-child? No, I think it's better, actually. You can't afford to be sloppy. Or maybe you can, depending on your roommates, but definitely you can't afford to be as sloppy. Dude, my first time having roommates that wasn't my family was at the first OTV house we moved into with all our friends. And let me tell you, I was so afraid of like doing something wrong because I was like, oh God, this is my first time. I'm sure you guys remember like how like I feel like I mean, obviously I've evolved a lot. I'd like to think in a good way over the past few years. But like, dude, I was so afraid back then. It's crazy, man. I would always, dude, they would I remember how awkward it was because I would just walk in the kitchen, and it was so funny because back then, obviously now I'm way more comfortable and I don't think about it too much. Back then, people were like, there's no way this dude is like 20 years. I'd never lived with roommate. I lived at home in college. I was like pretty, I don't want to say sheltered. That feels weird, but I just never went out much, you know? And it wasn't like shelter. It was by choice for the most part. But like, I remember like slowly walking down the stairs and looking around like a scared meerkat crawling down. And like, I think I would always run into Yvonne and she would be like, why are you slowly walking down the stairs like that? And I'm like, I don't know. I was just afraid to like just show up and scare somebody or like intrude on people doing things. And like, I don't know. It was, man, that was a fun time. That was a fun time. But yeah, I feel like the gaming houses, they're kind of gone for the most part. There's a couple, but not too much. But yeah, when you'd stand outside Toast doors, dude, those were good times back then. Good times. I do think like, yeah, I'm kind of weird. I'm kind of weird. I'm a little less weird these days, right, guys? I'm more normal. I'm more well-adjusted, I'd say. But yeah, I do remember like way back then, and obviously I'm way different now, but back then people were like, there's no way this guy's like 20 something and he's like acting like it's his first time, you know, living with friends or having roommates or going into, but it actually was my first time. I was very scared, extremely scared. And I remember, I don't know. It was a good time though. Good time. The Sykkuno days, they were days. They were days. I don't know if I miss them because I'm a lot less nervous now. So that's good. It was nice living with everyone though. Those were fun times. I'm kind of sad it doesn't happen too much anymore. I know there's like the apartment that everybody lives in, but you know, I mean, I don't know if that's for me. And it's not technically the same anyway. But, you know, those were fun times. I think it was mostly a product of COVID, though, you know? Like, people, like, didn't see each other much. And they just want to live in a big place, I guess, because, you know. Would you do it? I would do it again. I think most people wouldn't, though. Most people probably wouldn't, I'd imagine. Also, it's hard to find a big house. Like, you know, I think most of Like, you know, if you got a group of 5+ people, it's pretty dang hard to find a house for 5 people. And here's the biggest problem that no one talks about usually. You can find a 5-bedroom house. It's possible. But usually a 5-bedroom house is a house made for 2 parents, maybe 1 decent-sized room, and then 2 rooms for baby kids. Like tiny baby kids. So if you have 5 like adults who need space to stream and have all their junk, the 2 baby kid rooms are pretty bad for them, you know? Pretty dang bad. So like it was very difficult to just find houses that like, you know, kind of fit everybody who are all adults, because it definitely seems like bigger bedroom houses were like definitely made for, you know, you got 2 adults, maybe 1 more adult room, and then you got the baby kid room for your kids, and then like, you know, just not like they definitely didn't design it for, you know, 5 streamers to all live together. It's just not how houses were designed, which makes sense. I feel like it wasn't very common. Leslie and Yvonne lived in basement. Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, there were so many cooked out events that happened, you know, where like, yeah, Leslie lived in a basement. It was a pretty nice basement, actually. I also, when we were moving to the second roomie's house, was it the second one or third? I don't know. We were moving to that one roomie's house. I kept saying I don't live in the house anymore because I lived in a converted thing in the backyard. So that was a crazy time. But yeah, like, long story short, it's just very hard to find a house where, you know, there's a lot of big rooms. You know, it's hard.